Hi, I'm Callum and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at Get Out, which is a film directed by Jordan Peele and released in 2017. In the film, we follow Chris Washington, played by Daniel Kaluuya. Chris is going up to visit his white girlfriend's parents for the first time. The only catch? He hasn't told them he's black. But not all is as it seems. The film tackles post-racial America, the societal idea that racism in America was defeated after President Obama's election, and also the insidiousness of disguised racism through continued microaggressions, intended or not. Played by Lil Rel Howery, the character of Rod Williams is a passionate airport security agent who is eager to help his friend Chris. He also serves a crucial role in the narrative as the deuteragonist, and further, is one of the reasons why Get Out is so unique. A deuteragonist is the second most important character in a film, often acting as a consistent companion to the protagonist. A deuteragonist can flip between supporting and hindering the protagonist. In my opinion, Rod fits this role perfectly. Through Jordan Peele's construction of Rod's actions and the narrative structure, he creates a character that subverts common tropes and conventions of the horror genre, one that contrasts the protagonist and provides a sense of catharsis to the audience. Let's take a look at the first scene where Rod is introduced in the film. It is here in Act 1 that director Jordan Peele sets him up as Chris's foil. Rod is presented as an individual who is very suspicious of others. This is done through his dialogue.
How can I get in trouble for patting down an old lady? It's standard procedure. Gary just thinks an elderly bitch is elderly. She can't hijack no motherfucking plane.
This intends, at least at first, to let the audience believe that he's overreacting to Chris's trip.
Like, don't go to a white girl parent's house.
She doing licking your balls or something?
Yeah, bye. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
Rod is set up to appear as if he's hindering Chris, trying to stop him from completing his goal of meeting up with Rose's parents. Peele also uses camera and mise-en-scene to further contrast the two. While Chris is shown confined in the car with close-up angles that keep his face in the foreground, Rod is shot from a long distance and has a cigarette in his hand. Rod is free in both space and ability to smoke, while Chris is exactly the opposite.
So you threw it out the window? Just like $1. You basically threw $1 out the window.
Well,
Right?
that was $1 you decided to spend on nicotine and tobacco.
By midway through Act 2, at the midpoint of the film, the audience's perception of Rod is flipped. The camera is fixed and steady on Rod. He's now taking the position of authority as he listens to the situation from Chris. This steady focus on Rod brings our attention further to Peele's use of symbolic colour, especially in the costuming of his characters. In most scenes Rod is in, including this one, he wears some sort of blue shirt. Blue in Get Out symbolises things that are safe or helpful to Chris, while red symbolises danger. The party guests at the Armitage's estate wear red. Rose wears red and white clothes once she takes Chris to the estate, and she drives a red car to take him there. The blue and red dichotomy is a pretty obvious reference to the two main political parties in the United States. Democrats, blue, who are traditionally more progressive, and Republicans, red, who are traditionally more conservative and racist. Dangerous for black people like Chris. In wearing blue, Rod represents one of the only islands of support Chris has. As the scene unfolds, the camera gets closer to Rod's face to highlight the seriousness as to which he is now handling the situation. The audience is now positioned to believe more that Rod is helping than hindering. Rod is also crucial to subverting the audience's expectations. In a horror movie, it is common, at least for me, to be constantly telling the protagonist in my head what to do, to get out, to not open that ominous door, or answer that ringing phone. The character of Rod is the ultimate representation of this audience sentiment, a proxy for the audience. Rod is basically everyone in the theatre who's screaming at the screen, Howery said in an interview with the New York Times. Peele uses Rod to provide the audience with extreme catharsis. Yes, the biggest word Jordan used all the time was real. We need Rod to be real, Howery said in another interview by Vulture. This scene, where Rod goes to the police for help but is ultimately laughed out of the room, is positioned towards the end of Act 2. This is where the action is approaching its climax, after Chris has just been sedated and locked in the basement. We cut to Rod at home. A high-angle shot reveals that he's been taking notes, trying to solve the mystery and figure out a solution. After he calls Chris and Rose answers, he quickly figures out that Rose is hiding something.
What did you say?
I just said he was missing.
Oh, good.
Let me ask you something. What cab company did he use to leave?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess maybe a local one, or I guess he could have called an Uber. Wait, I'm so confused.
Oh, you confused? Oh, okay. Confused. You know something? Me too. Could you hold on 1 second? Okay. Okay, hold on. You lying bitch. She is lying like a motherfucker. I know that. Ooh, that TSA shit tingles. This motherfucker's lying.
It is in this moment that Rod is acting as a proxy for the audience, what we are imagining we might do in such a situation. And then we get the ultimate moment of catharsis, where Rod arrives as a deus ex machina to save his best friend.
Shit! I mean, I told you not to go in that house. Consider this situation. Fucking handle.
By seeing a character in the film they're watching take every reasonable measure in order to save their friend, subverting horror movie tropes and cliches, and ultimately being the reason that the protagonist is rescued, it creates a sense of realism that grounds the film, despite all of the absurdity of hypnotism and brain transplants. But I think Peele intended Rod to represent something bigger, something more than just comedic, cathartic relief. Rod works at the TSA. The TSA, which stands for Transportation Security Administration, is an agency of the United States Department of Homeland Security, mostly known for airport security. It was formed after the September 11 attacks to prevent the future hijacking of planes. However, many Americans believe that the TSA is ineffective at stopping threats, and it has been proven with the agency failing 20 out of 22 undercover tests in a 2006 report. Peele contrasts the ineffectiveness of the TSA with Rod's complete opposite effectiveness and quick thinking. Not only is this for comedic effect, but it also has a deeper meaning. Historically in the United States, up until the 13th Amendment was passed on the 6th of December 1856, black people had been enslaved and treated as commodities. Their only worth was their physical attributes, what they were seen as on the outside. Rod's subversion of our expectations exposes the way that systemic racism can still exist even in liberal-minded people, mirroring the wider message of Get Out. We as the audience, in addition to the characters in the film, have a preconception that Rod will be useless due to his uniform, his appearance. We only judge him by his physical characteristics, just like the Armitages and party guests do to black-skinned people. The use of Rod's uniform as a metaphor for racial bias ultimately reinforces Get Out's broader message about systemic racism and the danger of judging people by their physical appearance. Rod Williams in Get Out is more than just comedic relief. He's a representation of the audience's frustrations, a catharsis when those frustrations are satisfied, and a cautionary note towards judging a book by its cover, a TSA agent by their uniform, a person by their skin color, even subconsciously. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.
Flint and steel. Flint and steel. Flint and steel.